If you are calling off, please press 1. If you are calling to know, please leave a detailed message, including your name, telephone number, and the time of your phone call.
Is this testing? Yep, this is on. The fact that I woke up this morning contemplating work, call off, work, call off, work, call off, that's a problem for me. That's a problem for me. And you know what? I haven't been here in almost 4 years. I haven't felt this way in almost 4 years. And the fact that I was contemplating whether I should work my job and get paid or call off and get unpaid, absolutely not. Like I absolutely not. And then it made me think, how many other people feel like this that also have this experience? How many other people are contemplating? They know that their body is telling them they need to rest, they need to slow down, they need to take the day. But in the same token, you can't afford to do so. I mean, I know right now I am in a contracted position that I accepted, so I don't have PTO. I don't have insurance. I don't have like the luxuries that I'm used to having. I haven't been in this particular space for such a long time, but it instantly gave me a flashback to 2020 when I was in this similar space, but for a different corporate job where I did have those things, but I had exhausted my PTO and I had literally reached mental burnout to a level I had never experienced before. I started feeling the grief of my son's passing. If this was 5 years ago, 6 years ago, then he would have been 3. So I was 3 years into the grief and loss of him, 3 or 4. I experienced the heaviness of that. I had moved to North Carolina months before the pandemic happened. I could not have predicted that. I was missing my parents. The job was taxing. I took on a very big responsibility with this role. And I'm not a stranger to leadership. I've been in leadership for 18 years, with the exception of these past 5 years. And so I took on a role that required a lot of me in stepping into a very new store with a new team that had their trust had been completely dismantled by the previous leader. So I'm partnering and working with my district manager to just get things up to par as best as I possibly could with my portion. It was a lot. I mean, I think all of it hit me at once and just ran me into the ground. And I had no more PTO time left to take. And that's the first time I took a sabbatical. I may have to save that video for another day because that's a whole nother journey and story. But I had a flashback of that moment this morning, like deja vu, when I felt like that. I hadn't felt like that since that time. That was 6 years ago. Get me out of here. I am not doing it. Opt out. Do not subscribe. Would not recommend. And my mind was just like, I know I'm not the only one that feels like this, but I don't hear people talking about stuff like this. And maybe it's because it is a vulnerable thing to share. It can make it look as though you are behind. It can make it look as though it's not the glamorized level up that people always want to talk about. But this is a big reality of working people in America. This is a big reality of the gap until you get to, the golden job, the golden space, the being able to up and leave your job and create your dream life, right? Like people say that like it's just so effortlessly. And for some, it can be. There's also this token of there's some underlying things that are happening there for you to even be able to just call off without PTO, for you to be able to take those leaps, right? I'm speaking from a woman that had that emergency fund, and that was my underlying thing. Well, what about when you don't have the $10,000 emergency fund? What about when you don't have the PTO time? What about when you're contracted and your role is technically temporary anyways? What about when you need to take time, but then you got to figure out, can I afford to do this? What can I change, shift, and move around in order to do this? And if you're a woman like myself, like my bills are things are timely, very timely. I'm very listen, your girl is bad in a good way when it comes to like those things. But being in a season of a rebound, being in a season of restoring after layoff, being in months, being in a season where you're just coming back to yourself, what if you don't have all of those beautiful luxuries at your front door? Then what can you do? And I was ruminating on this morning. I literally just called in like 10 minutes ago, and I went in the kitchen. My dad was making coffee, and he was like, "How you doing this morning?" And I said, Dad, I'm doing all right. I said, I think I'm going to call into work today. I leave for this trip tomorrow. I just need I just need a minute. I just need a minute. I need a minute to think without rushing. I need a minute to pack without rushing. I need a minute this morning to not jump up. I've been up since 5:30 anyways, like I was praying and in my devotional time. Took care of a little bit of business, scheduled text messages to friends. I love that you can schedule text messages now. Thank you, Apple. I did some of those things and then went back to sleep for like an hour and just been listening to my soaking worship music. Let me tell you, my atmosphere fills up with that. And I just needed to take time for me today before I hop on a plane and get in this Airbnb with 5 other amazing ladies or 4 other amazing ladies before, things get busy and you're moving around and stuff like that, and deep conversations and all the catch up and the excitement that comes with good girl time. But sometimes it can come with an energy exchange. And I am a woman that has grown to be mindful of my energetic exchange. Call it the future therapist in me, call it just a woman in tune. Especially if you're someone that you feel energies and things like that very easily. So I just needed a minute today. And that thought spiraled a deeper thought of when I have my membership, I don't know what level this is going to be. I don't know what this is going to look like. I have a list of like Delulu random ideas that I kind of just throw out there and throw against the wall. But it's really just in my other journal, because y'all know I got a journal for everything, honey. We got a journal for the Lord. We got a journal for dreams and desires. We got a journal for budgeting. And then when you buy one journal with all of it, you don't use it. I had this thought of, what if my membership, one of the memberships that I offer, because I do want to have a monthly membership this year, that there's a fund that is built where women that just need a minute can use it. I don't know what that looks like, but it's like, if I had that today, I would be able to take my time with ease. Of course, if I had PTO time, I would throw that thing out there in 2 seconds. But when you have exhausted your PTO time, or you don't have much to give, or you're already trying to budget your PTO time out for the year and you just need a minute, you feel locked in, like you don't have an option. And the worst thing is to be at the mercy of something that's not fulfilling or giving back to you. The worst thing is to be at the mercy of a bad situation and feel like you don't have a way out. Man, I learned that 10, 15 years ago, being broke. I learned that during that season, when you early 20s after college, that little, in between journey where you a little broke and you like, I don't think I'm supposed to be broke. Like, I gotta pay rent next month. Who gonna pay this? I hated that feeling so much then. And I said, Lord, I don't ever want to get back to that feeling ever again. And I was like 23 at the time. So this is well over 10 years ago. When you are at the mercy of others and other people, especially if you're at the mercy of money, that's hard, because you feel like you're in a box and you can't quite literally get out or really move around. So now you're just trying to figure something out. And I think the just needing a minute fund in some capacity in our membership group would be so helpful. Like I said, I don't know what that looks like. I had to get my coffee. I don't know what that looks like, but that's just like one of my random thoughts. I have like a few random goals in the future of things that I've just been marinating on for years. And when this little golden goose idea comes up, I'm like, okay, tuck this here, tuck this here. So I'm going to tuck that away and marinate on what that could possibly look like, because things are changing. That's the best thing I can say. Things are changing. Because I'm not trying to fix people. I just want to be able to help them facilitate their dreams. I want to be able to help them in a moment like this. If they need to voice memo me or something like, Renee, I need to talk through this, right? This is when I tell you guys, when the time comes, I'm not going to be a traditional therapist. And I think that's just because of the lens that I see things through and the lens of like my experiences with how I see things. But this morning, waking up like that, nah, I didn't like that. I didn't like that at all. I didn't like that one bit. And I'm getting out, opting out. And I definitely encourage you to consider what your opt-out needs to look like too. To consider, what are you currently at the mercy of that needs to change, right? And it all starts with a choice. You can hit somebody with every excuse in the world. Oh, it's easier said than done. Can I be honest with y'all? And you may not like what I'm going to say. I hate when people say that. And I don't even use the word hate, because it sounds so not deceitful. It sounds defeating. Like it's such a defeating term. It's like such a pacified term. Like, oh, let me just say it so I don't have to do it. Let me just say it so I don't have to get through it. Like, let me just say it so I don't have to think about what's required to do what I got to do. Easier said than done. There's a lot. Everything in this world could really apply to that, right? But there's things that to me could be easier said than done. That's easy to you because you did it. You got the skills. You know how to do it. I just don't like when people say that, because it sounds like you are lacking hope to me. And no situation is hopeless. No situation is hopeless. Every situation requires a choice. Every situation requires a choice. I'm telling you this like I'm telling me this, right? I don't like this feeling. What are you doing about it, Renee? Well, you've been working on your exit strategy. Do you need to speed your exit strategy up? Are you a little delayed somewhere? Because I'm a woman where I go deep. I go deep so I can understand and process, so I don't repeat. And this was something, getting myself in this situation, working for a job like that. I didn't realize it was going to be like this. It's not a company thing to that level. It's small, but the type of work, the container of work. I had to ask myself, like, girl, how did you get here? Because you haven't been in anything like this in a long time, right? And it was like, okay, well, you want to get off of unemployment. It'd been for almost 5 months since you hadn't had a job since I worked in tech. And it was like, okay, I want to shift and move on, right? So this was an opportunity. I prayed about it. I was like, okay. I said, well, it's a familiar field. I know it. So, all right, work from home. Okay. Decent pay. Okay. All right. Sign me up. No. Clearly I didn't ask the right questions. Or I didn't fully understand the container of the job. No for me. So when I say I go deep with my exit strategies, because I'm just spending a little time there to make sure I don't repeat the same pattern, to make sure I'm actually pursuing my exit strategy from a place of clarity, from a place of honesty, from trueness of what I really do desire, right? It may not be this grand list of these new companies, but it's the container in which I want to experience the company again. I've worked in corporate for a long time, and there is nothing wrong with a corporate job. I believe if it aligns with what your needs are and what you're doing. And if it doesn't, what's your exit strategy? What are you working? How are you, sorting through your money or investments, setting yourself up, right? And those are things that, of course, we don't always want to touch in a moment like this. But I understand the feeling of desperation to change. And all of this comes back to a choice. You got a choice. Easier said than done is a cop-out. I'm sorry. It's a cop-out. You have a choice. Yeah, I got to figure it out. Yeah, I got to get out of here. Yeah, I'm working on it. And working on it could be working on the business from 6 to 9, from 6 to 10 p.m. Working on it, voice memoing to yourself in the car while you're driving to the job. Working on it in between your meetings, like your work meetings, actually setting meetings up during your lunch break. Sometimes we got to get a little creative and we got to move a little different with some agility when we're trying to get out of something and get to the other thing, right? So today, I don't even want to call it an L, but today I'm not getting paid today. I'm taking today off, leaving for a trip tomorrow, and I'm not getting paid. I would love to be getting paid, but I'm not. But you know what I'm going to do? I'm not going to sleep on today, and I'm not going to let today go by unhandled. I'm pouring into the exit strategy workbook, getting that finished and finalized, because that will pay me. I'm going to pour into the things that I can put out to help people that feel like I feel and help people navigate what I'm navigating, because that will pay me. That's my servantship. That's my reward. I'm working intentionally and diligently so I can put the things out there that bring me joy, so I can help people solve the problems where I was stuck too. Because this is the thing. Your problem is somebody else's problem, but you are somebody else's solution. Somebody else is dealing with the same thing as you, the same feeling, the same thoughts, the same hardships, and you have a solution to a problem. We just sleep on ourselves because we let the value of our worth be determined by these jobs. Baby, you are worth more than $19 an hour. You're worth more than $29 an hour. You're worth more than $39 an hour. You just haven't experienced that yet because you think you're worth the hourly pay that you go in and you give them. You think you're worth a $50K. They hired you because you had the skill to do the job. I heard Myron Golden say this before. Your first client, you already got your first client. Your job is your first client. How much they paying you? That's your first client. Now go get some others. When he said that, I was like, oh, he's not wrong. Because they're going to hire you to do a job that they don't want to take the time to do. Hire you to do a job that you've learned to do and master the skill. And don't sleep on your skills. Any job, let me tell you this, any job, any person that has hired you for any job sees the skill and ability in you because you got the job. You a W-2 employee, you have a skill and you have an ability. I had to learn this. When I got out of 18 years of retail, I can be transparent with numbers. I think I had capped at $50,000. That's the highest I had gotten working in retail. When I got out of retail, took my same retail customer service, leadership, management, organization, team building, development, training, took all of those same skill sets from all these high-level companies. I managed Lululemon, I managed Ulta, I managed Warby Parker, Nordstrom, Bath and Body Works. 18 years, you've been at a lot of stores, right? All of those. I took that same skill set and I was able to triple my income like that in a whole new industry. 150 turned into 150. Like overnight. And I was like, do not sleep on your skills. The container may not look sexy. Retail, telling somebody I managed retail didn't always feel sexy. That was the in-between job that all the kids worked in between school, in between college until they got their real career. So I was like, this is weird. But I enjoyed it because it connected me to people every single day and I just didn't stop. And I loved the companies that I started working for. I loved working for great companies and I had great benefits. I just enjoyed it and I stuck with it for a while. So when I was able to take and pull out that skill set and apply it in a whole different industry and I mean, bonuses after bonuses every quarter, and hitting my top tier for me, right? 150 for me was a big deal. I never made $150. I saw my dad do that. I never did it for myself. That's a different type of win. And so I was like, okay, girl, you got the juice. You got the juice. So wherever you are, I hope that encourages somebody. And then I was able to do that and repeat. And I just was like, so now I can say, okay, the 6-figure mark is easy. Now I know that life right now is lifing for a lot of the world, and many will tell you that 6 figures isn't enough. And I think to an extent, there is a lot of truth to that. But I also have learned as you're growing and building, in certain seasons, it's not always what you make, it's what you do with what you make. Because my 6 figures being at home in my parents' house in a 10 by 10 bedroom with, a paid off car and different things like that can go a lot further than maybe somebody else's where they do pay rent. They have more responsibility. Maybe they have 2 car notes, right? So I don't always subscribe to that, but I understand it. And I learned a long time ago, in my mind, it's not always about what you make. It's about what you do with what you make and how you make your investments and how you, divvy out your money. And now I think a lot of us are doing or creating what we want to make by way of entrepreneurship, by way of hybrid options, working the corporate job and running your business and offering products and sharing with the world that skill set that you have, that talent that you have, because you already got your first client. You already got your first client. Your first client is your job. Now you have to go off and get your second client. That's going to give you a little cushion. So when you got a day like today, and you don't have PTO time to use, you can call off the job. And you can honor your body, your mental health, and your mind. And it's not that we don't want to work. This isn't the community here rocking with me. Oh, these people about their business. It's not that you don't want to work. I don't question or doubt that at all. And that's definitely not the case for myself, baby. I'm a working woman. Okay. I enjoy working. I don't even know what retirement would possibly look like because I love serving. I love helping people. I genuinely do. So it's not about not working. It's about work that aligns. It's about not feeling drained and exhausted in something that feels disconnected. It's about not ignoring the red flag in your body when your head is hurting already. When you're getting anxious, when your palms are sweaty, like when little things are starting to show you, you get that knot in your stomach, or you're already dreading the day. You woke up so early just to prepare. You got to wake up early to prepare your nervous system to brace yourself for what you're about to do. And then you got little orange cones set up everywhere because you got boundaries everywhere. Like people can't move around you at all because your boundary's so thick because you're trying to balance boundary and self-control when you haven't learned how to create the flow in between the two. Yeah, I've met people that go overboard with the boundaries because it's almost like they don't believe it. It's like they don't even trust what they're saying. Oh, no, I can't do that. Okay. Okay. Okay, but let's talk about that, because is that really the delivery? Why so, abrasive about it? Like, so some people just don't have the balance and the control, even with understanding the boundary and the why behind the boundary. Listen, I don't know what that just a minute thing is going to look like, but I am telling you, when your girl starts rolling, starts just rolling in the dough, I am going to have that available, and that is going to be available for my community, tucked away to the side. And I think I'm going to do I'm a voice memo type of girl. I'm not texting, I don't know. Some of my friends, God bless them. My cousin, I love her down, honey. But she sends me very long paragraph texts. And you know what? I'm going to read it and honor it because that's her form of communication. But I'm going to voice memo you back because I need you to hear my words and feel my words. And I'm not texting. But maybe that support will look like a a voice memo support where they have like a 30-minute session or a 20-minute session. Because in a moment like this, where I don't have insurance, I couldn't go to my therapist, but I had to kind of navigate it myself. Isn't that funny? Woman becoming a therapist with no insurance right now. Guess that's life. Parts of life. I had to navigate it myself right now this morning, honestly in prayer and just sitting and being honest and realistic. There are others that have the same thing. There are others that don't have a therapist in general. They probably do have insurance, but they don't have a therapist. And so they're trying to figure this part out too in the moment. Sometimes you just need to talk to somebody for a minute. Somebody that can give you good sound guidance and advice, right? Luckily, I can message my mentor. She actually texted me this morning. I just saw it. So I'm going to chat with her for a little bit. Look, see, she sent me a long text too. So my mentor has been a therapist for over 33 years, and God bless her. I love her down. I'm going to chat with her, and I'm going to chat with my other good girlfriend, Kay, because those are the two people I sense to chat with about this today. But my decision has already been made. I've already made the phone call, and you know what? I am going to handle my business today. I'm going to take it slow, prepare for Mexico tomorrow, celebrate my best friend, and work on the exit strategy. What better time to continue to work on it? Because these moments really fuel me. When I get in the thick of my situation, that fuels me. So, yeah, that's what I got. I've done it again, y'all. This was almost 30 minutes. If you resonate with anything that I said, honey, because I know I was a little all over the place, I would love to know. And I would love to know your thoughts on the Just a Minute Fund. Like if that were something available in a membership where it was another person like me that had a moment today where they just needed to be paid to take today off. I'll never forget when I was in high school and I started working. Now, my parents didn't make me work. Now, mind you, I'm a girl. I graduated in 2007. Okay. Millennials. Shout out to the millennials. We are a very special group of people. I started working in like 2005. I think I got my first job at Hollister, like a lot of other people. And back then I had really debilitating periods, debilitating to the point where I could not work or go to school that day. And I would be asleep on the bathroom floor because that is the only thing that brought me comfort. Being that young, I didn't understand periods. I didn't understand why it was so heavy and hard. I know now, I have a great understanding now, but at the time I was scheduled to work that day and I just started working. And I enjoyed working and I didn't want to call off. And I told my mom, I was like, I said, well, I can't go in today, but I want to. My mom paid me. She paid me what I would have made at work to stay at home that day. And as soon as that paper hit my hand, I went right upstairs and got right in the bed. And I just processed it. I processed the fact that my mom paid me to stay home. She paid me to stay home. And then, of course, I went from the bed to the bathroom floor shortly after, but that just came back to me in this moment. And it's like, man, sometimes people really just need a minute. Sometimes people just need a minute. We just need a minute. Oh my gosh. All right, family. Thank y'all for listening to this. Thank y'all for holding space here. If you resonate with anything, meet me in the comments. I will be there. Until the next video and a change of scenery. Peace out, friends.